Now the other thing that we have to mention about Chaturanga is two things really. There's two stock instructions about it. The Ashtanga Vinyasa instruction, which is elbows all the way in 2 inches from the floor, right? Which is very problematic to me, right? So if I bring my elbows all the way in and I roll 2 inches from the floor and my shoulders do this at the bottom, I have no choice but when I get up here to crank, right? And that move from here to here, that's just tearing soft tissue. Just like what happened to me is it just ripped up the soft tissues, and it gets very clicky and brittle and painful and sometimes tingly. So the idea for me is to not lower so far down that the shoulders are going to collapse in on someone. Like from here, as soon as I bend my elbows, I'm doing Chaturanga and getting benefit. Strengthening here, right? I continue to get that to about elbow height. You can see me shake a little. As soon as that goes boom like that, no more. I lose that benefit. And I'm just cranking up my shoulders, you know? They sometimes call it the shoulder shredder. Have you guys ever heard of that? Yeah. Terrible. Terrible. I don't want Chaturanga up dog to be a shoulder shredder. So what I would say is I'm not going to pin the elbows in. I'm going to let there be a little bit more freedom. Like we're not letting them splay all the way out here like this. But there's just like a natural way that your arms would come in at your sides like that. We're not going to try to do this thing. You'll see people do it all the time, right? Where they put their elbows like that and they lean on it right? They prop on their bones. And the other big one is everybody move forward, right? So that you can get the angle in your arm, right? Please, let's just let go of that. That angle in the arm thing, let's forget about that. Like, depending on a person's body proportions and construction, that angle's not necessarily going to be there. Like, I can make my body do that. I can come all the way here and then, oh my God. Like, I could do it, but it's going to strain me because of the way my body is now. I know other people who come to my class, they come forward and come down, they're totally supported, it looks great. But what I think happens is some of these like alignment instructions that we say as teachers to like a whole class, they're not necessarily like incorrect instructions or anything. It's just they're not for everybody in the room. They're maybe for one or two people, like the teacher happened to be looking at right there. So they said the instruction to the whole room, and now everybody's doing it, you know?
That going forward thing, because I've always been taught that, and I teach that, and I've taken videos of myself, and it's like, yeah, I have to go forward to get that angle, but it's like major hyperextension on my wrist. And when I saw you do it, I was like, oh my God, like his wrist is like totally jammed. And I'm like, no wonder, you know,
that stuff.
Hand problems, because it's like when I'm coming forward, I'm having to really, I can't even really get my hand flat anyway.
And what I would say is that sometimes I want to acknowledge that, like, I've observed in students I've worked with and some of the people in the training that there are some different body types, right? So for me, like if I'm lowering like this, like I can have stability along the way. Sometimes for folks, they don't have that full articulation of movement with stability. And there is a thing about kind of bringing your elbows in. Like the Iyengar instruction is a way of bringing support and stability to it. What I would say is that when I do it in Iyengar, they don't teach Chaturanga in the sun salutation. There's no sun salutations in Chaturanga. They teach it as a set, like balance pose, like you would do crow pose, right? So if you're just doing Chaturanga as like a set balance pose, they talk about no winging, right? You're not supposed to let your shoulder blades move, right? And I think if you're doing it like as a set pose, then yes, that's probably the right way to work. But when we're doing it in a sun salutation, it's a body movement. It's a body movement from here to here, and from here to here. And that is the most difficult inhale in all of Vinyasa right there.
you.